world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day, and everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Whoa, oh, right through life and move ahead to your destination. Shine so bright, be the light of a new creation. If the world is a stage, better start the show. 7, 8, 9, 10, ready, set, let's go. Turn it on, turn it up. Are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day, and everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Feel the sun upon your shoulders. Find the strength to make you bolder. Yeah. Let each moment take you higher and higher and higher than you've ever been before. Right through life, every day is a new beginning.
Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone. This is John Brock here with Keller Williams Realty Centers and ALC member. Welcome to Red Day 2021. We're so thrilled to have everyone with us for our afternoon session here. We have a special guest who I'll introduce in just a second. But first, I wanted just to take a minute to thank everyone who has contributed and given to some of the wonderful charities that we have affiliated with Red Day this year. For those of you who are not familiar with Red Day, it is an opportunity where every single year Keller Williams agents across the globe have an opportunity to give back to their local communities. And in our case, within York Region, Georgina, Bruce County and surrounding areas, we've put together an amazing campaign, and there's been some amazing effort gone behind the scenes to set up for a bunch of local initiatives, specifically local food pantries, etc. And if you're interested in donating and seeing what it's all about, we've got the link attached here, and we're about 50% of our way to our goal of $5,000. We're just shy of 2,500, which is an amazing start. So thank you very much to everyone. Now, without further ado, now that we're past lunchtime, I think this is where all the fun begins. So we have a very special guest. You can see the handsome gentleman to my left. This is Nicholas Peach. Nick is here with us today, bringing more than a decade of experience in the hospitality and bartending industry. He is a wizard and master of cocktails. He's also an author of his brand new book, No Shots After Midnight. And he has come with us today to donate his time to teach us a little bit about some great creations and concoctions that he's personally come up with. And he also runs an incredible online virtual bartending mixology workshop called Barebones Bartending, which I've had the privilege of being part of in the past, and I can tell you it's an amazing experience. So Nick, I will turn it over to you, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, John. I'm very happy to be here for Red Day and tell you a little bit about my program, make some cocktails this afternoon. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my program. Hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Nick, and I run a program called Barebones Bartending. It's been around for an incredible 6 years, most of that in person, but over the last year, we've moved virtually, and I see people from coast to coast now. But to give you just an idea of what my program is all about, Barebones Bartending, it is the focus here. We teach people how to bartend if they want to become bartenders, if they want to get into the industry. And that's, of course, it's a lot of fun in a way, but we also run our cocktail workshop program. And that is all about, everyday people who just want to learn a little bit about cocktails, practice bartending techniques, have fun with your friends, and always to learn recipes that I hope you'll make again in the future. So if you're watching today, I hope you'll take this down, you'll get a copy of the recipe, and then you'll get to share this with your friends and family, make them at home. or anywhere. So hopefully on the beach. So they're a lot of fun. So the two drinks that I have chosen today, the first one we're going to kick off here, it's sort of the afternoon. So I wanted a cocktail that could be a brunch drink and something for last call. And I've been making a lot of tequila cocktails lately. So we have a Paloma. Now, if you've never heard of a Paloma before, you have probably heard of the Paloma's cousin, the Margarita, okay, a lot more popular. The Paloma is sort of a side. It's a beautiful cocktail. It's a little smooth and definitely very tequila forward, and one that I hope you're going to enjoy. So and pretty easy to nail this recipe and then explore in the future and add some new ingredients and make it your own. So let's dive into this first one. We'll get a drink made, and then maybe I'll tell you a little bit about tequila as well. So the Paloma, to start with, it's a shaking cocktail. It's got some citrus in it. You're going to want to aerate it with a good cocktail shaker like I have in front of me. If you don't have a cocktail shaker, this happens all the time. I go over to a friend's house. They get me mixing up drinks. I start looking for something like a mason jar. Mason jars are a good alternative. But of course, if you have a cocktail shaker, that's what you're going to want. We're only going to add 4 things to this. Okay, we're going to start with what we don't want to forget. We're going to add some tequila. So I have actually Tromba is my go-to. This is their Blanco. It is pretty fantastic. And I'm going to add 1.5 ounces of the tequila to kick things off. So I've got a little measure here. Let's do 0.5 ounce and 1 ounce. In general, I recommend your Blancos and your Reposados for your cocktail making. Okay, if someone tries to convince you to put a $300 bottle of tequila into a margarita recipe, that's cool. It's nice to show off sometimes, but Blancos are made for cocktails, like everyday use. So there's 1.5 ounces. Okay, next, we're gonna do some fresh grapefruit juice. I've got some grapefruit here. I am not juicing it myself because juicing grapefruits is a huge pain. So we're gonna get some that's already prepared for us. We're gonna add the same amount, 1.5 ounces. So here we go with 1 ounce of our grapefruit and 1/2. All right, so equal parts, tequila, grapefruit. Next, we need something to balance that citrus, and we're gonna do that with some agave syrup. So when you're making cocktails, you use your spirits, your citrus, and your sweets. That's how we come up with hundreds of different recipes. A lot of cocktails will just use sugar or simple syrup or cane sugar or honey. Of course, we're working with an agave spirit, so we're gonna use some agave syrup to sweeten it up. And you can find this at most grocery stores nowadays. A lot of people put it in their coffee. I find it pretty amazing. I'm gonna use 1/2 ounce, so less of we don't wanna make it too sweet, but 1/2 ounce of our agave syrup. Okay, that's 3 of 4. We've got one more ingredient and just a little bit more citrus, some lime. So this one I am gonna juice. It's not quite as hard with a hand juicer. I'm gonna get about 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice, super fresh lime juice. There we go. Toss that in. And if you're feeling cool, you can also add the limes. There are oils, essential oils and terpenes in the skin of your lime. It's called limonene. And if you shake it up with that in your shaker, it's going to release into your cocktail as well. Okay, maybe you didn't know that. That's something you can try for yourself next time you mix this up. Okay, so we have all 4 of those ingredients. I'm going to add a little bit of ice to shake this up. Do that here. Don't need a crazy amount of ice. You're not, if you fill your cocktail shaker all the way, you're just going to be filtering through those ice cubes, not shaking. We want aeration. We want the oxygen mixing into it. And I'm going to seal this up really good. Here's a really important tip when it comes to shaking cocktails, and I will give you this advice from the thousands of guests I've seen over my virtual events over the past year and a bit. Hang on to your cocktail shaker, especially if you are on a work call with all of your colleagues. If you, for example, throw the cocktail shaker at your computer screen, which I have seen someone do, it's very uncomfortable for everyone. But if you want some actual advice, shaking a cocktail is all about rhythm and it's all about energy expended. So if you're shaking really small, you're not putting too much effort into it, you're gonna get kind of a low effort cocktail. It should feel like a workout for about 20 seconds. It should not be comfortable, but I promise you, you will get the best results by exerting that energy. So here we go. Okay, you get to watch my shaker face as I do this. Here we go. All right, good shake, ready, and we need our glass. So I have a Collins glass that I have lined I've done sort of a rustic rim, so not the sort of along the edge like you might see at a cocktail bar. This is just a different way to do it. I used a little bit of agave syrup and I mixed some coarse salt with a product from Salty Paloma. I love these guys. They're from Toronto, and they have a bit of a raw cane sugar mixed in with some grapefruit. So that little bit of sugar and spice. And we've got our glass. We're going to add a little bit of ice to our glass as well. So we'll do that now. And we'll strain this one over our ice. And that is perfect. Now, remembering to leave a little bit of room. This is a carbonated drink. We have some soda water. I've got some Perrier. Don't shake this up. Shouldn't have to say that, but somebody did that on one of my streams. And go ahead and top up your Paloma with some soda water using a metal or paper straw. I've got a metal straw here. And there you go, the Paloma. This is the brunch cocktail, the early afternoon, and the last call. So cheers, everyone. I'm going to have a little sip, and then I'll tell you a little bit about tequila. So here we go. Well, that is tremendous. Amazing. Of course, if you have any cheers, thank you, Allison. That's awesome. If you have any questions while I'm talking about this, please feel free to comment. I can see it on, if you see me looking over here, there's nothing strange going on. I've just got our chat on a 5-second delay here, so I can definitely get your comments. If you have anything you've ever wanted to ask a bartender, I am your guy. Ask me deep personal questions. There's nothing that's off limits. So take a little sip here. Catch my breath. If you're like me, you've been indoors and shaking that cocktail just takes it right out of me. So I need a couple seconds to recover. But yeah, there we go. The Paloma, is just one of my favorite tequila cocktails. Of course, the tequila old fashioned is right up there as well. But let me give you a few quick pointers about tequila. Just some things. Again, the name of my program is Barebones Bartending. So I always want people to feel comfortable. I want them to ask great questions. I want them to learn about their favorite drinks and to walk away with some information that you might actually use again in the future. So when it comes to tequila, there is so much to learn. It's an incredible spirit. Some key takeaways I think that you might enjoy. So of course, tequila is a spirit that is produced in Mexico. It comes from the state of Jalisco and some other areas around there, but primarily from the state of Jalisco, which contains the town of Tequila. So you can think about tequila as a protected spirit, a type of alcohol, in the same way that champagne can only come from one part of the world. Now, tequila is made from the agave plant. Kind of looks like a mutant overgrown aloe. And you always want to, of course, get a tequila that's made from the best agave. Here is a really important thing to look for always on the label. While tequila always is made from agave, it only has to contain 51% agave in order to, pass and be sold as tequila. So 51%. Now, that other 49% can be made from any other organic material. You can use corn or whatever is as cheap as possible if you're trying to maybe make a cheaper tequila. What you want to do is always check the label, see if it tells you whether it is made from agave or, like the one in my hand, Tromba, made from 100% agave. That is what you're always looking for. So next time you are shopping, you don't know a lot about tequila, maybe you're buying someone a present, always look for the 100%. It will tell you, and that's how you know you're on the right track for your tequila buying. And then when you go from there into the different expressions, again, for cocktail making, if you're going to be making margaritas on the weekend, I definitely suggest a Blanco or a Reposado. If it's something that if you know someone likes to sip their tequila, maybe an Añejo, an aged tequila. So put that one down as well. See if I have any comments. Got a little drink here. All right. Whew. All right, I have one more recipe for you. And we're going to slow things down a little bit for our second cocktail. That first one, right out of the gate, ton of fun. This next one is a bit more of a ritual for me. So, and it comes with a fun story. I always like to make this drink and sort of talk a little bit about where it comes from. So the second cocktail we are going to do is called a Sazerac. So the Sazerac is, as far as drinks go, it is a pre-prohibition cocktail, which means, anything earlier than the 1920s, drinks looked a little bit different than they would from 1920 to 1933. And that's because during Prohibition, the quality of alcohol tended to go sort of right down, and drinks that could hide the taste of bad alcohol became much more popular. So we think of drinks like whiskey sours or gimlets or things with a lot of citrus or sweet. Those tend to be considered Prohibition era cocktails. Now, pre-Prohibition cocktails are the ones that were more spirit forward. So we think about old fashions, we think about Sazeracs, we think about drinks with that sort of collection. Now, the Sazerac, we do know, was invented by someone. It was invented in the 1800s, early 1800s, by a gentleman named Antoine Peychaud. So Antoine Peychaud, his family ran an apothecary in the French Quarter of New Orleans. So they sold different supplements and herbal, and of course, their family bitters. So to this day, you can still get Peychaud's bitters. It's probably the second most popular bitters worldwide. And the cocktail came about from Antoine serving his drinks, a combination of his family's bitters, spirit, a little bit of sugar, and water. And that combination became known as the Sazerac. It's a very similar recipe to your old fashions. Now you can make a Sazerac with either bourbon, okay, very American style, or cognac. And cognac is where the cocktail started, and that's the way I like to make it. So the original recipe for a Sazerac would have been made with cognac. It wasn't until about the 1850s and 60s that all the cognac disappeared in the French Quarter and really everywhere else in the world due to a locust-like plague going on that wiped out all of the grape production for most of Europe. You can read about it online. It was not very good for grape and wine producers. And of course, you can't make cognac without wine and without grapes. So people switched from cognac in their Sazerac recipes to the bourbon, which sort of makes it a little closer to an old fashioned. So I'll show you how to make one. Now, this is, like I said, it's a ritual. It is a stirred cocktail. You heard me mention earlier, shaken versus stirred, in that first drink having citrus in it. If you are at a party and someone asks you to make them a drink and you're trying to think, okay, well, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. Should I shake or should I stir it? Really easy tip. If there's citrus like lemon juice or lime juice or grapefruit, if any of that is in the drink you're mixing up, give it a good shake. Citrus wants to be shaken. If there's none of that, no citrus, then stir it. It doesn't need aeration. You want like a smooth, velvety, oily, slick consistency when you mix that up. So I have in front of me just an ordinary glass, okay, a mixing glass, a Yari, something like that. I'm going to toss a sugar cube into the bottom. So throw that right in, and I'm going to go ahead and reach for Mr. Peychaud's bitters. So turning this one over, giving it a couple good dashes of Peychaud's, like so. So sugar, bitters, spirit. Our cognac, we'll do 1.5 ounces. All right. So 1.5 ounces of our spirit. And I'll remind you again that the recipes for the two cocktails that we're doing today have been provided. Those are going to be sent out and shared in the chat. So you can make these again, maybe even tonight. Go out and get the ingredients, mix up one of these cocktails. So we have our bitters, we have our spirit, we have our sugar cube, and I'm just going to very gently muddle and dissolve the sugar. All right, get that going. Perfect. And we'll get some ice in here, get it to start diluting. Now, bartenders are obsessed with dilution. One of the main criticisms I have, and I don't have many, but if I'm ordering an old fashioned, I'm ordering a Sazerac, I'm ordering a martini, it's the dilution level. It's an under diluted or an over diluted cocktail. There's no magic amount of time. It all has to do with your technique and how you're stirring. But if you find your drinks are too, especially a spirit forward cocktail like this, it's definitely, you're meant to taste the expression. You're meant to taste the spirit. But if it's going down like a shot of tequila or a shot of spirit, that's not diluted enough, or maybe a little bit more sugar to balance it out. But we'll get this one stirred up, and we'll get our cocktail glass ready. I have one of these Nick and Nora style glasses. Best part about stirred cocktails is you're working behind the bar, you can let it sit for a second while you're preparing things like your glass. And there is a little bit of preparation for this. So I have a little bit of absinthe, and we're going to do an absinthe rinse or wash. So I have the glass here, just a little bit of absinthe, some really high proof spirit, and I'm just going to just roll it around the inside of the glass and just coat the inside of the glass. And you can drink it, or, you know, in most cases, it's just a rinse. So a rinse meaning we don't leave it in there. It's just pour out the excess absinthe, finish our dilution for my fantastic Sazerac. And then we are going to strain this one. So no ice, strain that into our cocktail glass. Perfect. Now for a garnish, you can do a lot of different things. Of course, if you have any fresh citrus like lemon or an orange, then you can take a piece of skin and shoot the oils, express the oils, and use that as a garnish. I like to, at home, I actually dehydrate my citrus. So I do lemons and limes and oranges. So you can make them, you can dehydrate them, and they work for garnishes. You don't have to have fresh fruit all the time, especially if you are trying to build your own home bar cart. I recommend you trying this out. So you slice your lemons, you slice your limes and your oranges really thin. Put your oven at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and on a nice, on a flat tray, you leave them in there for 2 or 3 hours. All the water will evaporate, and you end up with just the oils remaining, and they smell really nice. They release the oils into your cocktail, so we'll drop that one in. Of course, keep an eye on it. I don't want please don't burn your house down. That is not good. That's not going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of fun. And of course, they last for, if you properly dehydrate your fruit, you can seal them up and they'll last for years, a year, 2 years. They don't really go bad. But that is the Sazerac and the Paloma for you. 2 very different cocktails for very different times of day, and, you know, maybe even very different types of people. But those are absolutely 2 of my favorites. So, you know, I'll try this one as well. Cheers, everybody. And I'll tell you a little bit about my book in a moment. So, all right. That is awesome. Okay, so a couple of things here that I always like to share with people, especially at my workshops, and, you know, while I have your attention. If you're looking to set up that perfect home bar, there are a couple of things that I think everybody is going to want to have. You're going to need your own cocktail shaker and mixing glass. Now, I don't even have a mixing glass at home right now. I need to go out and pick up a new one. But the best style, they're called Yaris. It's a Japanese style mixing glass. So with a cobbler style shaker like the one I have here and a nice Yari, that is going to be key to any little home bar cart setup. Now, all of the bar tools that I use for my program, I've been getting from the same place for 5 years. It's called the Cocktail Emporium in Toronto. They have locations in Kensington Market and Queen West and newly at Union Station. And they do shipping across Canada. So you can order online, have their stuff sent to you. And that, I think, is the perfect sort of start to your home bar cart setup, is getting the right tools. And then you can follow that up with a collection of bitters. Cocktail Emporium has about 200 different bitters on hand, and then syrups that you can add to your cart as well. But I think if you want to, of course, ever get in touch with me, you can ask me questions like this on my website. It's barebonesbartending.com. And I get requests all day from people looking for recipes or events with their friends. So shoot me a message. I love talking to people. And of course, one last thing to tell you about something I am extremely happy and kind of proud of would be my book. So I wrote a book last year. It was published in September of 2020. It's called No Shots After Midnight. And this was, of course, everyone is handling their lockdown, their time in different ways. So over the course of the last year, I wrote 25 short stories about bartending. So 25 true stories from about a decade. And it takes place in 6 different countries. at some of my favorite bars around the world and kind of tracks my experience from a fresh-faced 18-year-old bartender all the way up to opening my own bar in Toronto a couple of years ago. So if that's something that's interesting to you, sort of a behind-the-scenes look at hospitality, then definitely pick up a copy. If you like cocktail recipes, every story has an original cocktail recipe. So there's 25 drinks you're not going to find anywhere else here. So you get cocktail recipes, you get weird stories, some cool photographs, and 6 artists were commissioned to do the artwork for each section. So you have 6 sections of different art styles from some international artists that I thought was pretty cool. So the book is called No Shots After Midnight. And yeah, you can find it on barebonesbartending.com. It's become a bit of a hit in some very niche markets. So, if you pick up a copy, give me a shout and let me know what you think. But I think that's everything from me. Of course, I'll take any questions, but I'm going to probably kick it back off to our hosts. But I do want to say, thank you so much for asking me to be here today. It's my pleasure to support Red Day. Please donate. I know donations are open for the rest of the day, right up until the evening. And cheers. I hope to see you at a bar sometime soon. Thanks again, everyone, and thanks for having me here today.
Nick, thanks so much for being with us here today. And those drinks, I got to tell you, they look good. We were seeing comments, people running out to make those drinks right now. And this is the second time that I got to participate in one of your sessions. And it's always, you make it a lot of fun. And I love the history behind the drinks. I think that's what, people don't take that, or they take it for granted. Here's your drink, but there's so many neat stories. So yeah, do reach out to Nick and visit his website and get that book. But he also, as mentioned earlier off the top, he hosts online events, and it's a great way to celebrate together. And that's what we're doing today, is celebrating Red Day, celebrating giving back to the community. So we want to thank Nick for your involvement today and your participation. And if you've already donated, a huge thank you to you. We're obviously donating to the Richmond Hill, Aurora, Newmarket, and Keswick food banks and the Grey Bruce Health Services. I've said it on the streams all day. We've been very blessed with the things that have been given to us, and this is an opportunity for us to pay it forward and give to others. And I can tell you right now, we're over the halfway mark of what our goal is. We're at $3,120. Thank you so much. And we're really excited about that. And again, Nick, thanks for being with us here today.
So happy to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thank you again.
Very good. And if you want to continue your day with us, please do. We're having now that Nick's made the drinks, we're actually going to have a happy hour trivia contest, which you can find on our Facebook or our YouTube profile. That'll direct you right to the link. And we're excited to share that time with everybody. So for Nick at Barebones Bartending, thank you so much. I'm Gary McGowan, and we'll see everybody on the next stream. Bye for now.